गरम तरसा विजित्या लब्धा सभा माया कृताद्भुत शिल्प माया दिग्भयो हरा निप्तयो बलिमद्वार्यते यस्सन्निधौ यू खाण्डवमाग्नेयदम् इंद्रम च सामरा गणम तारसा लब्धा सभा माया कृतद्भूत शिल्प माया दिग्भयो हरन् निपतयो बलिम अध्वर्यते. Repeat. यस्सन्निधौ हम युगं च सामरा गणं तरसा विजितया लब्धा सभा माया कृताद्भुत शिल्प माया दिग्भयो हरन् निपतयो बलिमद्वार्यते. यस्सन्निधौऽहं योगखाण्डवमग्नये यदाम् इन्द्रं च सामरगणं तरसा विजित्य लब्धा सभा मया कृताद्भुत शिल्प माया दिग्भयो हरन् निपतयो बलिमद्वर्यते. यत्सन्निधौऽहं योगखाण्डवम् आग्नेयदम् इन्द्रं च सामरगणं तरसा विजित्य लब्धा सभा माया कृताद्भुत शिल्प माया दिग्भयो हरन् निपतयो बलिमद्वार्यते. संस्कृत. यत्सन्निधौऽहं योगखाण्डवमग्नयेदाम् इन्द्रं च सामरागणं तरसा विजित्य लब्धा सभा माया कृताद्भुत शिल्प माया दिग्भयो हरन् निपतयो बलिमद्वार्यते. Word meaning? Yat, whose, sannidau, being nearby, aham, myself, you, note of astonishment, khandavam, the protected forest of Indra, king of heaven, agnaye, unto the fire god, adam, delivered, indram, Indra, cha, also, sa, along with, amara ganam, the demigods, tarasa, with all dexterity, vijitya, having conquered, labdha, having obtained, sabha, assembly house, maya krita, built by Maya, built by Maya, Maya Danav, adbhuta, very wonderful, shilpa, art and workmanship, maya, potency, digbaya, from all directions, aran, collected, nirpataya, all princes, balim, presentations, advare, brought, te, your. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charnarvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation: because he was near me, it was possible for me to conquer with great dexterity the powerful king of heaven, Indradeva, along with his demigod associates, and thus enable the fire god to devastate the Khandava forest. And only by his grace was the demon named Maya saved from the blazing Khandava forest. And thus we could build our assembly house of wonderful architectural workmanship, where all the princes assembled during the performance of Rajasuya Yagya and paid you tributes. Purport. The Devanmaya Danav was an inhabitant of the forest Khandava, and when the Khandava forest was set on fire, he asked protection from Arjuna. Arjuna saved his life, and as a result of this, the demon felt obliged. He reciprocated by building a wonderful assembly house for the Pandavas, which attracted the extraordinary attention of all the state princes. They felt the supernatural power of the Pandavas, and thus, without grudge, all of them submitted and paid tributes to the emperor. The demons possess wonderful and supernatural powers to create material wonders, but they are always disturbing elements to the society. The modern demons are the harmful material scientists who create some material wonders for disturbance in the society. For example, the creation of nuclear weapons has caused some panic in human society. Maya was also a materialist like that, and he knew the art of creating such wonderful things. And yet, Lord Krishna wanted to kill him. When he was chased both by the fire and the wheel of Lord Krishna, he took shelter of such a devotee as Arjuna, who saved him from the wrath of the fire of Lord Sri Krishna. Devotees are therefore more merciful than the Lord. And in devotional service, the mercy of a devotee is more valuable than the mercy of the Lord. Both the fire and the Lord ceased from chasing the demon as soon as both of them saw that the demon was given shelter by such a devotee as Arjuna. This demon, feeling obliged to Arjuna, wanted to do him some service to show his gratefulness. But Arjuna declined to accept anything from him in exchange. Lord Sri Krishna, however, being pleased with Maya for his taking shelter of a devotee, asked him to render service unto King Yudhishthira by building a wonderful assembly house. The process is that by the grace of the devotee, the mercy of the Lord is obtained, and by the mercy of the Lord, a chance to serve the Lord's devotee is obtained. The club of Bhima Sena was also a gift of Mayadanav. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरौ श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितान् निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी नमामि हरि प्रिये नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरतुषे नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्री गौर भगविंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे पंचकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः मुखं करोति वाचालं पांगुं लंघयते गिरिं तत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्. So before I speak on this important verse, I also seek blessings from all the devotees. Prabhuji sitting very senior devotee at the back, then Abhay Govind Prabhu and others, all of you, and all Matajis, so that we can discuss for our own purification. Okay, so before I start, I will have to keep the laptop here. So before I start, I want to take you to a little bit on the Ramayana side. So when Hanumanji went to Lanka to search for Mother Sita, he was Hanumanji is a Naistik brahmachari, but he was supposed to look for Mother Sita in a city about which he doesn't know anything. Right? Even before he had to jump over a ocean. Like we might, when we are walking, we might jump over a pool of water, or sometimes we may cross rivers by taking some shelter or boat or something. But he has to, cross the whole ocean without any boat or ship or cruise or anything like that. Sometimes you might have noticed, and it is a very, very difficult task. How many of you have been to a ocean side in the night? We went to Dwarka, we saw the ocean in the night, right? It is very fearful. So many waves are coming, and the main cause of fearfulness is you don't know whether the other side is land or not. How far is the land? It's very fearful. I have been to Jagannath Puri, and in the evening we were doing kirtan and sitting there on the beach, and I saw how fearful the ocean is in the night, especially very fearful. And I'm especially phobic to water. So this is how. So when when Sri Jamanji were looking for someone who would cross the ocean to look for Mother Sita in the service of Lord Ram, then everybody was being elucidated as a candidate, a potential candidate to jump over the ocean and go there. So Jaman could have gone. He was very powerful. He fought. He lived so long, and from Lord Ram to Lord Shri Krishna, he fought Krishna for so many years, and then finally he accepted him as supreme personality. So he could have. But then he wanted to find a person who is completely surrendered to Lord Ram in loving devotional service. And then he judged everyone, he inspected everyone, and he found Hanuman to be Sri Hanuman to be the perfect candidate. And therefore he aroused Hanuman's potencies again. And he reminded him that how powerful Hanumanji is. And if in case Hanumanji can use those powers in the service of Lord Ram, then all his strength will actually be put to service and it will be fruitful finally. Like that. So when then Hanumanji becomes ready in the service of Lord Ram, though he doesn't know on the other side what it is there, because it is what Asur Nagri. Nobody ever went there. It is for the first time Hanumanji is going there. It is not that he's going there every day for some job or anything, or previously he has went there. No, for the first time he was going there. He doesn't know anything. What kind of city is it? And of course, we know there will be very ferocious demons, very powerful demons there who have conquered the whole universe. In fact, it is told that at the time of Ravana, the demons were so powerful at some point, though Ravana was multiple times humiliated also. For example, Ravana also went to conquer Bali Maharaj on Sutal, but Vaman Dev kicked him and he fell 80,000 miles uh, far. So that was one attempt he did, first humiliation. Then he also went to conquer Bali. So Bali also put him in his armpits for 6 months. When Bali was doing tapasya, Ravana was in his armpits for 6 months. So Ravana actually got humiliated multiple times, but yet he was very, very powerful. He conquered, he snatched this whole Lanka Nagari from Kubera, who is also a very powerful demigod, right? And Srila Prabhupada is writing in fifth canto, second part, in purpose, he is writing that actually, according to Prabhupada, all the gold was hit. Actually, Ravana got all this gold from Cuvera, and he was supposed to rule the area of Mexico as of now. And he believes that Cuvera was hiding all the gold in the tunnels below the earth. And Prabhupada is writing actually Ravana exploited that place and got. And Prabhupada believes that there is a lot of gold there. But anyways, that is a side story. That is the part how powerful he was. He can exploit anyone in the world. He would go conquer any king in the world, any demigod, and bring their wives and women from there, the beautiful women. Anybody he could bring. And therefore his ego was sky high. And Ravana is a representation of lust. So Hanumanji was not knowing anything about Lanka, where to go, what to find, and there is no spy who would give any sort of hint. Right? For example, Pandavas got the hint from Vidur Maharaj that you are going to Lakshagriha, but be careful. Hanumanji had no clue what to do. But in the service of Lord Ram, he was so dedicated in the service of Lord Ram that he was adamant in pleasing the Supreme Lord. And therefore, while he was going, he met so many Rakshasis and Rakshasas in the path. But he always used to say that I would come back and fulfill your desire. Just let me complete the instruction of my beloved Lord. Just let me do this service, and I will come back. And then he went ahead. So then, when he reached there, Hanumanji, being a Nastic Brahmachari, Valmiki ji writes in the Ramayana that the purpose was to locate Mata Sita, right? So he was supposed to go to each and every palace of the demons and look there. How else would you find someone? Correct. He was not knowing until he met Vibhishan. He was not knowing that Mother Sita is in the Ashok Vatika. So he was going to each and every palace and he was looking. And demons, these are all lusty demons. They would conquer many wives and they would enjoy with them. What would a demon do in night time in his palace? They would enjoy with women. They were lying naked on their beds with liquor and all sorts of. They were doing nonsense activities. But Hanumanji, being a Nashtik Brahmachari, he used to see all of this in the service of the Lord. So at some point, he gets it out. Am I supposed to do this or not? I am a brahmachari. I am looking at this all this nonsense. He's peeping from each palace from the top. While Valmiki ji is writing that he was saying, is am I supposed to do this, or this there is a better way? But then he thought, if for the pleasure of Lord Ram, my brahmacharya is gone, or there is any danger to my so-called brahmacharya, let it be, let it be. So and then he kept on chanting the glories of Lord Ram in his mind. He kept on chanting the names of the Lord Ram, and then he kept on moving from one palace to palace to another, and he kept on seeing all the nonsense. Finally, he saw Ram Nam coming from one house, and he was amazed. In this Asur Nagri, how can somebody be chanting the names of the Lord? And then he went and asked, who are you to Vibhishan? And then Vibhishan told, who are you? First of all, you tell. Then Hanumanji, out of humility, tells, and there is in Sundarkand, this incident is there. He tells that you are asking my introduction. I am so fallen that if somebody hears my name, then that day they don't get food. If in the morning somebody hears my name, then that day they don't get the food. So Hanumanji is very humbly submitting himself as the servant of Lord Ram. Even before telling his name, he is telling that he is a servant of Lord Ram. That is the actual identity of a devotee, servant of Lord, Supreme Lord. And then he goes on tell, I have come here for a purpose. And then Vibhishan, both of them praise each other. And then Vibhishan tells, you may go and look for in Ashok Vatika. I have heard that maybe some princess is being kept there. That's how he went there and met Mother Sita. And then there is one more incident when finally Ravana kicks Vibhishana and kicks him out of the kingdom. Vibhishana comes to Lord Ram, and then Lord Ram asks all of them, all the other commanders of the Lord's army were actually ready to kill Vibhishan because they thought that he's kind of a spy, has come to see what we are planning and conspiring for, etc. But then when Lord Ram said no, and he specially mentions that whoever has come to my shelter, I will never abandon him. And then Lord Ram asks, who are you? Exactly same attitude Vibhishan ji also displays. He says that I am so fallen. I'm so fallen that my name, my introduction is not even worth telling to anyone. Like that, he's also displaying very deep humility, genuine humility. And that is a constant feature that we see across pure devotees in all these scriptures. Exact same attitude is also being seen in Arjuna in this verse, right? So Arjuna is telling in this verse, see, there are three themes that are being discussed in this verse. The first is Arjuna is agreeing that whatever he has accomplished so far is not by his own energy. This is because of, if you see the verse, he says Sannidhau. That essentially means Krishna's association. Because Krishna was near him, therefore he was able to get all this power, all these capabilities to do these wonderful things. This is a very important word, being nearby, Sannidhau. And then second theme in this is, we will discuss on all these three things. Second is Maya. So all the glittering things and shiny things that we see in this world, how can they derail a devotee's progress towards the Supreme Lord, and how a devotee is so dexterous to employ each and every um, glare of Maya, or the what we call pralobhan of Maya in the service of the Lord, and therefore purify both the Maya as well as himself. Both of them are able to progress. We will see in this incident. And third is Vaishnav Daya. So the Maya Dana, when he came out of the Khandam forest, actually he took shelter of Krishna, but Krishna said, no, you should be killed. And then he took shelter of Arjuna. So when he took shelter of Arjuna, Arjuna was so Vaishnav hearted. The Vaishnava qualities of Arjuna of mercy towards fallen conditioned souls. He gave him Abhedan. And then Arjuna said, no, you should not be killed. And then not only that, after being obliged to Arjuna, Maya said that if you have saved my life, now I want to do something for you. But Arjuna said, no, I don't want anything in return. Yeah, I am not done service to you in the expectation of any return. And then Krishna tells, no, because you have been saved, you do something for Vaishnava, because Krishna wanted to purify Mayadana. So this is how it goes. So these are the three themes. Krishna's humility in order to understand that everything that he has done is because of Sannidhau, that is the association of Supreme Lord and his devotees around him. Second, everything glittering in this world can be very pleasing, but they cannot give us liberation. And how a devotee utilizes everything that is fancy, that is wonderful in this world, in order to achieve the highest goal of life. And third is Vaishnav Daya, the compassionate heart of a Vaishnava. These three are the main themes of this verse, and we will discuss around them as well. In 15th chapter, this whole chapter is actually about timely retirement of Pandavas. So the Pandavas have now done everything that they are supposed to do in this world by establishing dharma, by establishing the right ways in which the citizens should be ruled, and etc. etc. And finally, they are planning to retire. And in this chapter, first verse itself, if you see in the first verse itself, it is told, so when Krishna comes back from Dwarka, Maharaj Yudhishthira is already predicting so many bad omens. He's already predicting so many bad omens. And why he's predicting? Because he's already of a conception, he's having some rough idea that Lord Sri Krishna has already decided to wrap up his pastimes in this material world and go back home. So they were very, very agitated. All of the Pandavas were very agitated because Lord Krishna is now not amongst them. And this feature, this characteristic of getting agitated because of losing Lord's association is technically called Vipralamba Bhav, Vipralamba, or love in separation. Love in separation. So when devotees, when they are bereft of the association of other devotees, Shri Radha Madhav ki jai, Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai, Panch Tattva ki jai, Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maharani ki jai. So when devotees, they are bereft of the association of either the Lord or his devotees, they become very, very disturbed, very sad, very morose. We saw that in the case of Uttara. We saw that in the case of Kunti Maharani's prayers. We saw in the case of over here in the case of the lamentation of Pandavas. So in the first verse of 15th chapter itself, when Arjuna comes back and starts speaking to Maharaj Yudhishthir on his predictions of the omens, he says the first word, Krishna Vishlesh. So actually, Sud Goswami is telling this. Krishna Vishlesh Karshati. So he's saying that because Arjuna have been devoid of the association of Krishna, in his heart, he is going through a deep agitation, because of which he was not able to speak to Yudhishthir Maharaj queries for a long time. So he remained silent. And that's how it happens when we are very, very sad about something, then our grief overpowers our words, our mind, our emotions. And that's how Arjuna is displaying here. So, in Krishna Viraha, Arjun is, and this is one of the important characteristics why Bhagavad Gita's knowledge was spoken to Arjuna and not other Pandavas, because Arjuna was the most loving devotee of Krishna, most loving devotee. He was most intimately associated with Krishna as a in Sakha Bhav, as his servant Sakha, like that. So he was completely devastated by knowing, and not only that, the last service that was given to Arjuna was also he was not able to perform it properly. So one, you are bereft of somebody whom you loved the most. He has gone away. And the last service that was given by him, that you also messed up. To see Arjuna's plight. This is a very, very pitiful situation that a devotee is. But in that situation, you see in this verse how Arjuna is perfectly manifesting the Vaishnava qualities. It's a very bad situation to be in. You love someone, you are already grief stricken, and then in that grief, you were trying to do some service, you were not able to even do that service properly. And it's not any simple service like take prasadam downstairs. It's not like that. It's service like you take my wives to Vrindavan. He was not able to even do that. So he lost all the wives of Krishna. It's a very big deal for a. We are not talking about Arjuna from a point of view of a great warrior. A great warrior, if he loses a war, that is a different kind of a sadness. A great warrior, if he loses a war, that is a different kind of sadness. Yeah, I lost a war. I met with a very valiant fighter. I lost a war. I like it. He's more powerful than me. It's okay. But this is some different kind of a situation. Try to meditate upon it. This situation is like Arjuna loves someone so deeply. That person has been with Arjuna constantly through his life, guiding him in all the ups and downs of his life. And then that person, the most attractive, Lord Sri Krishna is now gone. And he has given him the last service that please take my wives to a safe place. Even that he was not able to do. This is a very far more greater grief than somebody losing a battle, like some uh, warrior losing a battle. So it's a very pitiful situation that Pandavas are in right now. And if we understand this, we actually will understand Arjuna's heart. It's a very deep thing. So therefore, when Arjuna starts speaking, the first thing that he speaks is Sannidhau. All the things that we were able to accomplish throughout, either defeating great warriors like Dronacharya, Kripacharya, Bhishma Pitama in Mahabharat battlefield, or before that we were able to save ourselves from Lakshagra, or even before that he's telling specifically all each and everything he's remembering, and that shows how deep in his heart he is grief stricken. He's telling that when I went to Drupad in the ceremony of the marriage of his daughter, then because of the presence of Krishna, because of his guidance, because of his merciful demeanor towards me, I was able to pierce the eye of the fish that was moving by looking the eye in the oil below. Like that, he's telling so many things about Krishna. And if we understand this properly, this is not only he's not recounting his own glorifications by saying these things. He's actually glorifying Krishna by recounting all these incidents together. So therefore, he's completely devastated at this point in time. And he's telling it is all because of Krishna Sannidhau, because he was associating with us, because he was always mercifully with us all the time. And therefore, we were able to achieve. And therefore, for practicing devotees like us, it is very, very important to understand whatever accomplishments we have got in life. It is very important to understand that we have to give proper credit for them to the right person, right? For example, Sundar Shyam Prabhu was telling this example, right? Sometimes people say that we came in bhakti because our grandfather wanted us. He was a great devotee and he wanted us to, and therefore I am here. Well, that is not proper Vaishnava etiquette. The Vaishnava etiquette, what he's told. He told that I don't care whether my grandfather wanted me to become a devotee or not. Just because Prabhupada came in our lives, and through Prabhupada, so many devotees came in our life got changed. And that's why I'm sitting here today. Like that, he told. That is actual humility of a Vaishnava. He's not taking the credit from the right place. He gives the credit to the right place in a genuine manner, not just for the sake of speaking. Similarly, when we glorify devotees, we should actually genuinely give credit to the right point, right person. It is very, very important. By giving credit to the right person, actually we are invoking the mercy of that particular person, that Vaishnava, upon us, and also invoking mercy of Lord Shri Krishna, like that. So this is the secret of glorification. So when birthdays are there or Ishtogoshti is there, we do glorification. This is how we can remember. In 11.33, Krishna has already told all of us that he's saying Mayavite Nihita Purvam. I've already, whatever you are going to fight over here, all the deaths that are going to occur, I have already arranged for them. You just become what? Nimit Matar Bhave Sabbe Sachin. You just become Nimit or instrument in my heart. So Krishna was telling Arjuna again and again the same thing. And then he tells in 10th canto again, Aham Sarvasya Prabhu Matta Sarvam Pravartate. All you see, all the opulence, all the glories, all the strength, all the great bows, all the great kingsmanship, all the great fighting skills that you see is all coming from me. So Krishna was telling Arjuna again and again. But it only happens that when somebody leaves us, we actually, that knowledge strikes us. So now actually Krishna is remembering it even more deeper. So when somebody is amongst us, and he keeps on speaking, Prabhu, please chant, please come to morning program. It is for your benefit. Sometimes when he's too much pushy, like he's pushing me too much. And we don't realize the importance of the instruction of the person. But when that person leaves us, he's not with us anymore for whatever reason, then we understand the importance of the instruction of the person, of his association, of his words, like that. So all these things were told by Lord Shri Krishna to Arjuna again and again. But for the first time, he's actually remembering them from the deepest core of his heart and lamenting more and more. It's not that he did not understand it previously. He did. Now he's appreciating it even more. The association he's appreciating even more. And therefore, uh, we have to understand that while the devotees are with us and they are taking so much pain, for example, Vrij Krishna Prabhu, Dinesh Prabhu, they are taking so much pain. Sometimes it may feel for us as practicing devotees, and I have lived in voice or base for 12 plus years until my marriage. And I felt like sometimes when I was very new, I felt like these people are trying to put me in so many services forcefully. It felt like I'm doing services forcefully. You go for Sankirtan, you also do book distribution, you do this also, you do this also, and then I have to do my job also. And when I was student, I have to study also. Sometimes we feel like this is getting too much. Maybe these people are kind of using me in some sort, in some it's not a right word to say, but you understand the intent, right? But when we grow by their mercy, because they know that constantly putting us in different kind of services will actually improve our condition of heart, and we will improve in bhakti. Now we are able to appreciate. If we look back, we are able to appreciate all the hard work that is done by all the seniors on us. How much resources, how much time, how much energy they have invested on us. Now we appreciate. And therefore sometimes it may feel like, yeah, this is, I mean, they're using me too much, or something like that. We should at that point in think, no, this point it may feel like that, a lot of friction, but once I grow, I will actually see everything in the hindsight. The example is given in north. There is a craft that is called darkozi. Darkozi is like you do a lot of hand weaving on saris. So they draw very complicated designs on saris with hand. So while they are drawing those designs on the sari is kept upside down. And if you see the design, it is all haphazard. The actual design is getting formed on the front side, which is up down, which is not visible. But if you go and see Darkozi, how they do, and mostly Muslims do it, they have their parampara going on for Darkozi. They do very complicated silver wire, gold wire, and all sorts of they do and create complicated. But it is not visible unless the design is complete. It is only if you see from the back side, it is all haphazard. Some needle here, some thread will be going. You will never know what design is coming out. But once the design is complete and the sari is turned upside down, magnificent design come. Then those sarees are sold for thousands and created work. Similarly, in our life, Krishna and Vaishnavas are actually working on a plan, a complicated plan, which might not seem very obvious at this point in time. It may seem that things are going very haphazard, and I'm not able to make sense of them. But then finally, when the design will be complete, the analogy is that when our elevation, we will be elevated to some extent of anat nivritti, some extent. Then we will start appreciating all the hard work done by the previous acharyas, current acharyas, and the upcoming acharyas. Right? It's amazing then how much they are investing their time and energy on us, um, which I am not worthy of. So therefore, if we move ahead, I wanted to talk about some episodes from Ramayana today. I'm reading that. Before that, I will tell you the whole context of how this whole Khanda 1 incident happened. Right? So why this verse is being talked about. I'll tell you the context. So there was a king in the past. That king actually performed a very long yagya. So in that yagya, he performed too many ghee ahutis. Too many ghee ahutis. But sometimes when we eat something too much, we become reluctant to take it and become averse to it. Similarly, the fire god became so much averse to ghee and oblations, he wanted to eat something dry, something like that. So he went to Brahmaji. He told, I am completely averse now. I'm not feeling like eating anything. How will I take more sacrifices, take invitations of more sacrifices from other kings? Do something about it. So Brahmaji says that go to Khandav forest. There is a forest called Khandav, where a lot of enemies, he said, especially that word is mentioned, enemies of demigods are living. In fact, in that Khandav forest, Takshaka and his whole Vansha was living. Takshaka, who will later on be the cause of the death of Parikshit Maharaj, he was living there only. So Brahmaji told, go there and eat the forest and all the living entities within that, because the living entities in that forest are all the enemies of demigods. So therefore, your appetite will be corrected, and at the same time, you will also do a service. Right. So therefore, devotees always try to engage whatever situation they try to engage. So what he did, he went there. Now, this Khanda forest is a very special forest. Even before I go further, I will tell you the why Krishna and Pandavas are standing in front of the Khanda forest and why are they trying to build a city there. So the context is in Mahabharata. Context is that when they came back from the Lakshagraha, the popularity of Pandavas increased even more amongst the common citizens of Hastinapur and whole kingdom, because because somebody did something wrong to them and they survived. Correct. So everybody thought that they have died and they were already very popular. Die and people think that they come back. Even today, politicians use this hack. Even politicians use this hack. This is a kind of a hack. So if you are popular, you have to increase your popularity. You have to show some sort of a setback to your life. And then you come back out of that setback and then your popularity is resumed. This is a very important, and even people who do public speaking, they use this. So your life started with a problem, then you started growing, then there is a huge setback, and then you came out. So like they mold their speech. If you see Steve Jobs and all, they use this technique. It's a very famous technique. You show a steep and then you show a rise. People are hooked. अरे अब इसके बाद क्या हुआ? उसके बाद मैं विजय हो गया. मैंने इस तरीके से अपनी परेशानियों को ओवरकम किया. People are like, this is how you hook people in public speaking. But over here, this is how Pandava's popularity even spiked, like skyrocket. And now Dhritarashtra was envious even more. He was thinking, if their popularity keeps on increasing, maybe people themselves will elect them as a king. So what he said, he called Pandavas and see how cunning Dhritarashtra was. He said, my dear Pandavas, you come here. I love you so much. Now because you have come back, I don't want to be two swords in the same iron. You do one thing, I give you the Khanda forest. You go and reside there. And Khanda forest was an inhabitable place. It's an inhabitable place. And he very cunningly says, my dear Pandavas, I give you that whole area, Khandav 1. It's a very huge place. In fact, today's Indraprasth, Delhi was Khandaprast, larger part. So he said, you go and you reside there. So Pandavas being the natural devotees of Krishna, because Krishna was Sannidhau, was near them, they were not fearful. Even we are sent to jungle, we have anyways been in a Lakshagraha, which was made in a jungle by, so we will go. So Krishna was with them, they were not hesitant to even go to jungle and reside there. Being the children of a king, and being so powerful. So they went to Khanda forest now that this is the time when they're standing in the front of Khanda forest. And Krishna tells Arjuna, you burn this forest. When we will burn it, then only we will be able to, build a city here. So, but they will not be able to burn on their own. So they wanted to uh, get more help. So what happened now in this case? These two stories, Agnidev trying to improve his appetite from the long sacrifice of the previous king, and this second incident of Pandavas getting Khanda forest from Dhritarashtra and building a city there. All of both of them coincided, they collided. So now when Krishna and Pandavas standing in front of Khanda forest, a Brahmana, Agnidev in the form of a Brahmana comes, right? So this is a very repetitive trend we have seen. Whenever somebody has to ask something to someone, they take the garb of a Brahmana. So when Bhima and Krishna went to Jarasandh, they also became a Brahmana, and then he asked for a Malayuddha like that. And then when Arjuna also came to, they were also in the garb of a Brahmana when they went to the Swayamvara. And then Ravana's incident is also there. Over here, the reason is because Brahmanas were never refused of anything. So when Agnidev came as a Brahmana to Arjuna and he said that I want food. So he said, what kind of food you need? My food is a different kind. So he told that I am Agnidev and I want to eat this forest. Now the point is that Takshaka, because he had already taken shelter of Indra, Indra was a close friend of Takshaka. So because Takshaka and his whole dynasty used to live in Khanda forest, Indra always used to protect that forest. He was very close to Indra, Takshaka always. And therefore you say when the snakes were killed, Takshaka was actually ran to Indra because Indra was already his close friend. So Indra, whenever Agni Dev used to go and try to burn the forest, Indra used to pour rain and protect the forest like that. So this is the context and the background. Now, when Arjuna said to Agnidev, "Okay, I will help you burn the Khanda forest, and you can devour it and satisfy your appetite. But for that, I will need a lot of help in terms of new weapons." So then Agni Dev actually called other Varun Dev and all, and they came and gave Arjuna and Krishna their Rath, the famous Rath, and their bow and two quivers, which will never be exhausted by any bow like that. They will always be full. And also the Rath with Kapi Dhwaja, with Hanuman ji on the flag. Though both to Krishna and to Arjuna were given by demigods at that point in time. So when they got it, they actually then started fighting all the. So Agni Dev started burning the forest, and then all the demigods came to protect it along with Indra, and then Arjuna fought all of them with these new weapons, and they defeated them. Finally, when they defeated, Indra understood and accepted Krishna's and Arjuna's supremacy like that. Because Arjuna and Krishna are both who? Nar Narayan. So when they accepted and then they burnt, when they were burning it, actually Takshaka was not there. He was outside somewhere at that point in time on a holiday out of station. But his son was there and the mother was there. So Arjuna killed the mother or the wife of Takshaka, and then but he was about to kill the son of Takshaka as well, but then Indra did some Maya spells, and for some time Arjuna was illusion. In that point in time, the son of Takshaka escaped, but rest of the forest was burnt. So when the forest was being burnt, there was also a demon called Maya, Danav. He was also residing in that forest, and he was also supposed to be burnt because he's a Danava, and he was always creating disturbance for demigods. So he came out and he was burning like that. He asked um, shelter, but Krishna, through his Sudarshan Chakra, wanted to kill him. But then finally, Mayadanav took shelter of Arjuna. Arjuna, being having a very compassionate heart, he gave shelter to Mayadanav. He said, because he has taken our shelter, we should not kill him now. And he promised that he will not create nuisance. So now again, coming back to the context of this verse, now that Mayadana was saved, he wanted to do something. Therefore, Mayadana created a very wonderful assembly for Pandavas, very wonderful assembly, which was actually filled with all kind of wondership, as is being told in this verse. All kind of wonders. So why it is needed? Because when you do a Rajsuya Yagya, essentially what you are doing, you are inviting everyone to show your majesty. And the king who is doing the Rajsuya Yagya, the Ashwamedh Yagya is when the Ashwa is sent to everyone to challenge them. And whoever wants that you are not the final king of the whole world, he will capture the horse. And that essentially means that he wants to fight you. That's an invitation. Come fight with me, take your horse. Like that, that is Ashwamedha. But Rajasuya is like you call everyone in your kingdom and you show them your majesty. So they are not deviated from your servanthood. They're not deviated. They know, yes, our master is very powerful and great. In order to do that, they wanted a kingdom or a sabha that astonishes everyone. And therefore, this assembly of Mayadanav actually became very useful for Yudhishthira Maharaj. When all the kings and princes of the world came there in that wonderful assembly created by Mayadanav, they were so astonished by the wonderful powers of Yudhishthira Maharaj, they themselves surrendered. They all themselves surrendered. In this verse, it is being told they all offered gifts to you. Arjuna is telling Yudhishthira Maharaj. And therefore, they all offered gifts to you. Why? Looking at the Sabha and our majesty and everything. So this is the whole context of why he is talking about this particular incident, right? So these are some of the lessons that we have learned. Why Maya Danav? So first one, Sannidhau. Second is Maya. Maya is actually a very expert architect of demons. He's very expert. He can build very majestic architectures. And when he built this one for Pandavas, by Krishna's mercy again, Arjuna is saying that we were able to use all the opulences of Mayadanav, all his powers in this service of uh, because if Yudhishthira becomes the king, all the other princes and kings surrender unto him. He will become, because he's a devotee, he will be able to rule with a God consciousness. He will be able to spread more God consciousness. So he's saying that though Maya Danav is actually representation of all the wonderful things being done, and Srila Prabhupada is also writing, our material scientists are like that. They keep on inventing newer and newer, more flowery things, more uh, flashy things. And he's giving example of what? Nuclear weapons. So nuclear weapons they have invented, but now he's saying that the whole humanity is somewhat fearful of it. And similarly, we are inventing so many wonderful things: flying cars, EV, electronic cars, and robots and AI. All this is like Maya Danav creating wonderful things. These are all illusions. But a devotee, if we are on the footsteps of Arjuna and Krishna's teachings, then we can use all of these for the pleasure of Krishna and in the service of Krishna, like that. So Mayadana represents all the wonderful, and therefore it is said, all that glitters is not gold. So we have to see everything in the relation to Krishna, Krishna Sambandha. And third is Vaishnav Daya. So I want to narrate some of the incidents from Ramayana. And when in Ramayana, actually, in multiple places it is told, especially in the beautiful chaupais of Ramcharitmanas, that by Krishna's mercy, somebody gets the association of devotees. So if we are today sitting here in the association of devotees, it is only because Krishna has been merciful on us that he has given this association. Sometimes people say, no, Prabhu, sometimes in Bhagavatam, so many incidents are given where it is told that because a person has done a lot of pious activities in previous life, therefore they have gained the access to bhakti. But bhakti is completely independent. It is not dependent on any kind of fruitive activities, charity, pious work in the previous life because of which bhakti is awarded. Bhakti being the characteristic, loving characteristic of Krishna, and because Krishna is supremely independent, he is not governed by any kind of factor. Because of this, Krishna did this. No, he's completely independent. And therefore, bhakti is also completely independent. It is only because of the mercy of Krishna that somebody gets bhakti. And Krishna can give bhakti to anyone. So therefore, when we see someone on the road, when we do book distribution, preaching, sankirtan, when we see someone involved in so-called nonsense activities, we should not think that this person will not become bhakt anyhow. Because Krishna is being independent, supremely merciful. Actually, he can bestow his mercy on anyone. And therefore, we should see everyone as a potential candidate for devotion, as a potential candidate, like that. So it is told, तामस तनु कछु साधन नाही प्रीत न पद सरोज मन माही अब मोहि भा भरोसा हनुमंता बिनु हरि कृपा मिले नहीं संता. Who is saying this? विभीषण to Arjuna when they met. He said, अब मुझे भरोसा हो गया है. I am living in this dark city of unification is talked about and done practically every day. In this city, I have got the association and darshan of a pure Vaishnava like you. Now I am completely confident that if I can get a devotee association in the middle of Lanka, then it is only possible by the mercy of the Supreme Lord. So, I mean, Vibhishan was in a very bad association if you think about it. Only devotee in the whole city, in the whole nation, only devotee, right? And it is very difficult for him to perform. So Vibhishan never met Lord Ram. He's telling in this, it comes in the last part of Sundarkand. It comes. So he's mentioning, I have never met Lord Ram. Actually, Vibhishan never met Lord Ram. But he only heard the glories of Lord Ram. Only heard the glories. And by only hearing the glories, he became so much attached to devote Krishna, Lord Ram and his devotees, that when he saw Hanuman, see, he's not saying that, hey, how you come here? He is directly associating his meeting with a Vaishnava to the mercy of Lord Ram. And then he says beyond that, Bhav sahit kho jahi so prani, pav bhagati mani sab sukh khani, mere man prabhu as viswasa, ramate adhik ram karadasa. So he's saying, more merciful than Ram are the servants of Lord Ram. Because you have come here. Lord Ram has not come here. You have come here to give me remembrance of Lord Ram. So he's saying, Ram te adhik ram kardasa. More than the Lord Ram, the devotees of Lord Ram are more. And then he says, Bina satsang vivek na hoi, Ram kripa bina sulabh na soi. So without devotee association, we will not get good intelligence to do bhakti, to do devotion, to understand our relation to Krishna. And then he says, Ram kripa binu sulabh nahi naksoi. Or without the mercy of the Lord, that association is not possible. So it is like a circular relationship. Without the mercy of the Lord, association is not obtained, and without association, you cannot understand Lord's mercy. It is like that. And it is transcendental cycle. It is a transcendental cycle. It is not that we have to find out which comes first. We have to understand that both are happening to us. And then he says, Sat Sangat Mud Mangal Mula, Soi Fal Siddhi Sab Sadhana Fula. Sat Sangat is the primary way or instrument by which we can actually generate our love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Without it, if somebody says that, why he's saying that in the previous section, in the next sections, Radha Madhav ki jai, Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki jai. Why he's saying so? Because in the upcoming sections, he's talking about, sometimes people say that because of my pious activities I got bhakti. No, it is not possible. So he's saying only and only by Sat Sangat, good association, can somebody get devotional feelings, devotional sentiments for the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, our heart, because we have been doing sense gratification in this world for time immemorial, has become stone-like. Has become stone-like bhakti. Bhakti lata to grow, and it needs a fertile land. Any beach, any crop you grow, you need a very fertile land. But common living entities, because of our association with this material jad padarth, jad sansar, for time immemorial, our heart has become very stone-like. So therefore, we don't feel those emotions for the Supreme Lord anymore. It is very difficult to feel those emotions. But when we come in the association of devotees, it is like one barren land surrounded by many fertile lands. One barren land, if it is surrounded by many fertile lands, eventually that barren land will also become fertile because of the transfer of the characteristics. So therefore, though we are at this point in time, we may not be feeling the sentiments for Lord Shri Krishna as Arjuna is mentioning in this verse, but by the association of devotees, gradually that time will come when we will also cry. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in Shikshashtakam that when will that time come? So he's actually talking on our behalf because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also already crying. When he is speaking the Shikshashtakam for the first time, even then he is crying only. So why he is telling that when will that time come? When will I will chant your name and then the tears will come from my eyes incessantly, non-stop. He is telling on our behalf because he knows right now we don't have those kind of sentiments and the condition of our heart is very, very dangerous. We don't cry for Krishna. We cannot cry for Krishna. In fact, Gaurang Prabhu was telling in one lecture, we should cry because we are not able to cry for Krishna. So that is also humility, mood of humility. And it's a very precarious condition. We can cry for so many things. We can cry for our job. If you're not getting married, we sometimes cry. oh, oh, Krishna, why are you doing this to me? When people get married to a wrong person, they also cry. Why you did do this to me? And then we cry for so many things, our parents, our health, but we are not able to cry for Krishna. So crying is also the very important characteristic of devotional service. We should cry, not in public. It is. So once a person was giving a Bhagavad class, and everybody was very disinterested. One woman was crying, started crying. So he was satisfied. At least some person is hearing carefully the Bhagavad Katha. So he asked, "My dear mother, why are you crying?" So the mother said, your beard is just like my goat's beard, which died very recently. So when you are speaking, your beard is moving, and I'm remembering my goat like that. So it is very difficult to cry for Krishna, practically. We can cry for goat, but not for Krishna. And therefore, we should practice it in the association of devotees. How we can practice? One of the practical ways told by senior devotees is we should chant the bhajans from acharyas. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Narottam Das Thakur, Lochan Das Thakur. We should sing their bhajans. And with deep meaning and absorption, when we sing it, we will see that we actually feel those softer sentiments for Krishna. There is also one more caveat, and this is the last point. One more caveat in doing a lot of service. See, when we do a lot of service without proper mood, it also makes our sentiments jad towards other devotees. ये करना है, वो करना है, मैनेजमेंट करना है, सबको अच्छे करना है. See, whatever service we are doing, especially for people who are involved in dangerous services, like involving others also in the service, sometimes we become very rude. And the reason is that we stop seeing the softer connections to Krishna. The service that we are doing is essentially to please someone. And we cannot please someone by attitude. Hey, I've come here to please you. Will you be pleased? He will never be pleased. So soft attitude is required. Soft heart is required in order to please. Service is nothing but a means to please Krishna and Vaishnavas and Acharyas. And therefore, a soft attitude, a demeanor, is very much required to please anyone. So therefore, if somebody is doing a lot of service, sometimes we may become very hard-hearted. Hey, he's not getting up in the morning. He's a bad devotee. Let us kick him out of the base. Let us put him somewhere else. Like that, we start thinking. But these shows that maybe we are not thinking deeply about the reason of the service. Otherwise, we will be very compassionate, like Srila Prabhupada. He was living with David in the same room, and he was a drunkard. But Srila Prabhupada has those fine sentiments. Until the time it became intolerable, he actually kept on tolerating. He kept tolerating all of us. He is tolerating all of us even now. It is not that Srila Prabhupada tolerated hippies and now the hippies are gone. We are very good people. He is not tolerating us. Srila Prabhupada is tolerating even us today. And we are doing so many nonsense activities whole day. In our heart, we are having so many materialistic desires, so many sense gratificatory desires. Yet outwardly, we pose as devotees by putting tilaka and dhoti kurta and everything. And Srila Prabhupada knows everything. He knows in and out everything, and he is looking at us. We are jumping here and there, like posing ourselves as devotees, great devotees. Srila Prabhupada knows what is going on in our heart, and he's tolerating those bad desires, those bad emotions, those bad bhavas. He's actually tolerating. He's looking at us, but he's tolerating. Okay, let him jump. At some point in time, through his jumping only, we will be purified. And our Gurudev have tolerated us so much by giving us Diksha. They know that this person will do so many nonsense activities even after giving Diksha. And Diksha means that from that point in time, whatever nonsense that disciple does, all the reaction goes to the Guru. And Guru is still, he knows that my disciples are still practicing devotees. They will commit mistakes. They will commit a lot of issues. But yet, he goes and gives them Diksha out of mercy. This is called compassionate heart. And we also should have this kind of a heart towards other devotees. Because if Srila Prabhupada is tolerating us, we should also tolerate others. Okay. So this was the last point. I will stop here. Hare Krishna. We are already over time. If there are any questions, comments, please let me know.
One cloud again, like Arjuna is son of Indra only. Indra is making a truce to the demons and he's fighting his demigods only. At the same time, he's fighting with his son only. Quite,
Yeah, with demigods, you see these. With demigods, you see with these contradictory behaviors many times. For example, Agni Dev and Indra Dev are actually on the same side most of the time. But then over here, whenever Agni Dev is coming to burn the forest, because Indra is having a friendship with Takshaka, he's not letting them burn. So with demigods, you will see these contradictory behaviors. And the point is that materialistic people, nobody is their true friend. For a materialistic person, nobody is a true friend. You see America as an example. You see not I'll not take the name on, but you see the president. He can fire at anyone. He can go with war with anyone. Even his own allies, he's going with war. You might be knowing the international history, world politics going on. So for a materialistic person, there is no friend as such. It is told in Shastras. Chanakya Pandit also tells. Person who is science certificate. Yeah,
for others.
it is with the sun as well. For example, Hiranyakashipu is the famous example. Hiranyakashipu is so powerful, so beloved. Prahlad Maharaj was actually very beloved to Hiranyakashipu, only son. And he has conquered everything, very beloved. But then, if he is not confiding with his own mental plans, then he becomes against. Similarly, Indra also, many times he has fought with devotees also, not only Arjuna, with devotees also. Lord Shri Krishna himself, he fought. What to talk about others in the Govardhan Leela and all. So my understanding of the question is that when materialistic people, actually, for them there is no true relative, no true friend. If their plans are hampered, and Srila Prabhupada writes it many times, for materialistic people, if their plans, if their sense gratificatory plans are hampered, they will become against even their own relatives and friends. This is my understanding. But I will read more and tell if there are deeper imports to this. Maybe I'll try to find out.
Sometimes we see parents are ready to.
In general, they will do. In general, they will do. What Srila Prabhupada is mentioning is that when the sense gratificatory plans are hampered, and he's giving many times, you might have read that in the marriage also. See, marriage today is what? Is a contract for sense gratification, he's telling. So as soon as the contract for sense gratification, you scratch my back, I scratch your back. He's telling that philosophy. So yeah, as soon as those contracts are broken, they do divorce because you are no longer suitable for my sense gratification. Therefore, there is no point I maintain my relationship with you. So in general, if you see this whole philosophy, yes, many times they will, when everything is good, they will, Indra will maintain good relationship with people. But when if his plans are not there, not met, then he can go against also. At least this is what I can think right now. Yes.
He is trying to keep that position and trying to.
Yes.
Question. You mentioned that Vibhishan was alone of devotees, and you mentioned that we had the glories also.
He heard the You're saying from where did he hear the glories? He heard the glories from sages. So sages keep on coming and visiting these people. That's what I've heard. So different sages come and they meet. And moreover, see, Ravana is a demon. That is true. But he is also a Brahmana by birth. Ravana is a Brahmana. So therefore, it is not that the Brahmanas will not come there to his city. They will come for bhiksha and for charity and everything. They will come there. But at the same time, they will not go to Ravan and chant the glories of Lord Ram. They will find, maybe they would go and find Vibhishana, and because they saw that he is the right person, they will talk about it. What I have heard is that many sages used to visit these great devotees through the air path or whatever way they want, and then they spoke about the glories of Lord Ram. Like that. That may be the way.
But there are no particular incidents in
No, there is no. No. Yeah. But he says in Sundarkand, when he's talking to Hanuman, there it is mentioned by Valmiki also. If you see Valmiki Ramayana, it is mentioned that because he has only heard the glories of Lord Ram, then and moreover, see these glories, Lord Ram at his point in time was so glorious that when somebody is glorious, his glories are anyways sung everywhere. For example, Rukmini Devi, she never saw Krishna, but she heard the glories. So when somebody is very lustrous and glorious, his glories anyways reach everywhere. In fact, when this whole Ramayana incident is being written, Valmiki ji is asking someone, Narad Muni, that tell me about that person who is the most glorious, about whom I should write. Then Narad Muni is telling him that at this point in time, on this surface of the earth, only Lord Ram is the most glorious person. You go and write about him. So like that, he starts writing, right? So when somebody is glorious, his glories are sung directly or indirectly. In some format, they will be sung everywhere. For example, we might have not seen some very great devotee, but his glories will reach here somehow through someone indirectly, like that. Hare Krishna. But I will try to find answers to better answers. If there are any, then I will come back. Yes. Yes, Prabhu. Correct. Yeah. The weapons were there, but the hands in which those weapons were entrusted upon were much more trustworthy in previous ages than they are now. For example, this Pearl Harbor thing happened in 1940s. And because America had nuclear weapons and Japan did not, they just went ahead and dropped it. Lakhs of people died. Even today, the radiations are causing so many issues in people there. So right now, yes, the powers are, you can relate the powers, but the trustworthiness is not relatable. Previously, for example, if you see, Dronacharya was not giving this nuclear weapon to Ashwatthama because he was not the right candidate. But then he somehow or the other adamantly took it. That is a different point. But he was not, being a father also, he was not giving it because he was looking for the right candidate. Arjuna was the right candidate, he was given readily. Ashwatthama was not. So the point is, the trustworthiness of the recipient was checked thoroughly before giving them these dangerous weapons. Right now, that trustworthiness is not there. Everybody is like crazy. Srila Prabhupada says they can do anything. Any point in time, Srila Prabhupada writes, and there is a lecture also, that if there is a World War III, then Russia and America will be they will devastate each other. They will drop bombs on each other. There is a high probability, and it is building. So like that, he's telling. So trustworthiness is the issue through which you can reconcile. Previously it was there, now it is not there. Weapons may be same. In fact, previously weapons were even dangerous, even more dangerous. Yes. Hare Krishna. Correct. Bhakti is independent. That was the point. Yes. 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 Correct. Right. See, I got the question. See, in our practicing stage, we are told to not associate or preach to very demoniac or non-devotee people because it might hamper our faith itself. Our situation is very practicing as of now, very budding situation. As of now, I have practically seen so many boys when I was living in base. I used to preach. They come to a devotion. They are very enthusiastic. They are very confident about Prabhupada and his mission. But somehow or the other, they go on internet, see some propaganda video, and their faith is shaken, and then they leave. Oh Prabhu, one friend of mine, one counselee of mine, he took he got some money from somewhere, some refund of his fee, and then he went on a pilgrimage of India for 2 months. And when he came back, he heard so much against ISKCON from these pilgrimages from different because he was associating with wrong people. He came back, he packed his all his belongings and he left base. Immediately he left base because he associated. So faith is very budding as of now. So we should protect our faith. You see, therefore, it is told, save yourself, then save others. First, save yourself. So therefore, we have to protect our faith. At this point in time, we don't have to associate with someone we feel like they can hamper our faith itself, though we know we are doing correct. But however, in Madhyam and Uttam Adhikari, their faith is very fixed. Nobody can shake their faith. And therefore, from Madhyam Adhikari towards upwards, you can go anywhere and preach. In fact, for Uttam Adhikari, there is no non-devotee. It is told at Uttam Adhikari stage, there is no non-devotee in this world. Everybody is a devotee because they see either somebody is serving Krishna directly or indirectly. If they are non-devotees and they are doing so-called sense gratification, even then they are getting purified. That's how they see it. Because if they do sense gratification, they get punished for it. They get punished, and then Krishna will arrange for their purification by sending them to some proper place like hell, and then they get purified. They get their consciousness get elevated. So they are seeing such a long connection of Krishna's mercy for them. And therefore, it is told in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu by Rup Goswami, it is told, therefore, Uttam Adhikari cannot do preaching. Uttam Adhikari cannot do preaching. Kisko preach karenge? Everybody is devotee for them. Therefore, a Uttam Adhikari has to come to a level of a Madhyam Adhikari to preach. Because a Madhyam Adhikari can see the distinction. They can see the distinction. Their faith is strong, but they also see the distinction. This is a devotee, this is a potential devotee. This like that they see. So our stage, we have to be very careful. The faith is very soft. It can be hampered. But once our faith is solid, especially technically called as a stage of Nistha. Once Nistha is there, then you can go anywhere and preach, like Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada is a Uttam Adhikari. And he came down to a Madhyam Adhikari to go and preach. But you see, he is like a don who goes into the den of another don, pulls the collar and pulls the person out. Like you go into the area of another don. Everybody is loaded with guns. You are so fearless. You go and grab the collar of who the person you want. You drag him outside. The Srila Prabhupada is like that. He went into the darkest regions of ignorance. That is Bauri, a hippie movement. When they dragged the hippies from the collar, they took him outside from the clutches of Maya. Why? Because his faith is completely, he's a Paramhamsa. Like that. So. Yes. Yes. But it should not be extreme. ऐसा नहीं कि अब मैं अपने बारे में सोचूंगा, कुछ नहीं सोचूंगा दूसरों के बारे में. We have to preach according to our state. So if you are thinking like, oh, I can be influenced by other non-devotees, then you go and preach in that capacity. Whatever little capacity we have, we can. And Krishna accepts everything. So the broader point was Krishna being supremely independent, he is not governed by any factor. Similarly, bhakti, which is a characteristic of loving devotion to Krishna, is also supremely independent and is not governed by any other factor like pious, previous life, pious activities, blah blah, nothing. If Krishna is merciful on someone, there is no reason to it. He will give bhakti. That's how you define supremely independent. No, that is the technical definition of supremely independent. Though most of the times there are reasons, but those reasons are not bounding on Krishna. There has to be a reason, then only Krishna will show mercy. That is not. He's not bounded. Yes.
Talked about how Arjuna was glorifying Krishna, right, through accomplishment and all.
Yes.
One time, like what happened, I was doing well, I was not appreciated. And how you are doing all this, you are doing very well. I thought I'm not doing anything, Krishna is giving me intelligence and all. So there one question came, he asked me, okay, you are telling that whatever you are doing right, whatever you are doing very well, that is, you are not doing it, Krishna is doing it. Krishna is giving you intelligence. So he just questioned me. Then
Bad activities.
then about the bad activities question me, then that's the same thing, right?
Yes.
You're doing some bad,
yes.
Then why you are not giving that credit to
Correct. That
question?
no, that is a very good question, and that is a right question. That credit should also be given to Krishna. Why you are not giving? So therefore, you should quote this verse: "Jnanam apohanam cha." 10 point something. 15 point. 15 chapter you see. Okay, 15. Yes, you should recite this verse. In Krishna says that people who are favorably inclined towards Krishna, he gives the intelligence and the ability to work in devotion towards him. But people who don't want to work in the loving devotion capacity towards him, he's the one only who does the apohanam as well. He takes the ability or he covers the knowledge and then lets them do sense gratification more and more. So in both the cases, actually the credit should go to Krishna. He is the one who gives in your case, he is giving you the intelligence to do this devotional service or practice bhakti. And in his case, Krishna is the only one who is not giving the ability and covering his ability to do devotional service. But the main factor is that it is based on his desire, his minute independence of a living entity. Based on that, he's acting like that. But credit goes to Krishna only. He's correct actually. So you cite this sloka, and then along with him read the purport. He will be convinced. All bad activities are actually also done by Krishna only, because he wanted to do it. Krishna said, "Well, fair enough. You wanted to do. I will give you intelligence as Paramatma. I will give you. You do it. When you get frustrated, you come back to me. I will accept you." Yes. 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 Exactly. And he will keep, because like a loving father, he will keep on waiting for you. He will give you intelligence to do all sorts of nonsense, and he will keep on looking at you. So there are two birds on a tree that analogy is given. One bird is enjoying the fruits of his actions. The other bird is carefully watching the other bird when the other bird will be turning towards me. So Krishna is very carefully, like a loving father, he keeps on waiting for millions of lifetimes. Whatever nonsense you're doing, you do. When you're frustrated, come to me, I will give you jnanam. I will remove your apohanam, I will give you jnanam. And then that person becomes devotee. Hare Krishna.
How credit should be equal, like we should give credit to God for everything, right? But even there are many people who are involved in that. Like for example, parents, right? Now whatever we are doing in terms of career and all, even parents are responsible for it, right?
One second. Online people are there. They have left. Are there, no? They can hear me, no? So Hare Krishna, thank you to all the devotees who are joining online as well. So I deeply appreciate you are staying back after 8:30 as well. So if you want, you have some seva, then you can drop off and please go ahead. Otherwise, we can take one or two more questions. And then I hope I was audible. Hare Krishna. That is course. I will take after this one. I will take.
We had a doubt like how we should give credit in such a way that the intermediate person should not get fat on it. Like for example, if I give whole credit to Lord that whatever is happening, whatever I am doing today, whatever position I am, Lord is responsible for that. But even parents are medium for that, right?
Yes.
manage that overall feeling. Because
Correct.
no one should get what we say kind of thing that he's not appreciating my.
Yeah, technically it is called chain of mercy. Because chain of mercy. So mercy may happen directly or it may happen through people. So this is called chain of mercy. So our parents are one of the segments in that chain, one link in that chain. So Krishna has mercifully, depending upon his attitude towards us, his mercy towards us, sorry, he has given us these kind of parents. Because of those parents, we got some kind of education, some kind of upbringing. And because of all those factors combined together, your parents, your friends, your upbringing, your school, your college, your teachers, everything, your enemies, your friends, your current psychological state is a summum of bonum of everything together, right? And therefore, everybody has to play a part in your current state. And therefore, it is told if one person in a whole dynasty becomes devotee, 21 lineage links in the lineage get delivered. That's why it is said because each one has a contribution in our growth or in our fall down also in both they have the contribution. So in that way we have to see Krishna is giving mercy through all these chains and then it is coming to me not directly. Therefore all of them have to be yes all of them have to be appreciated accordingly. So if somebody's parents are devotees and because of them somebody became a devotee, then he has to give proper credit accordingly. But if they are not devotees and no, you became a devotee, then you have to give credit accordingly. That yes, because of your upbringing, you have given me good values, good sanskar, because of which I am now able to understand bhakti and the deeper and the sublime imports of bhakti. That is because my brain is fertile, and the fertile brain is coming from where? From parents. Like that we can give. So it has to be done properly. Hare Krishna. Mataji's question was that how should we cry for Krishna? That was the question. That is the question. How should we cry for Krishna? So, crying for Krishna is little different from crying in this material world. In this material world, we cry for when we are grief stricken. But there is another kind of crying, which is called crying in happiness. So, the crying in happiness has to happen in the way that we are so fallen. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling in Chaitanya Charitamrita, we are so fallen, but Krishna has mercifully shown mercy on me. This itself is a cause of great jubilation. And because of this jubilation, I'm crying, looking at the mercy of Krishna, that he has shown mercy on such a fallen soul. Though it is a matter of celebration, but in that celebration there is crying. It's a twofold thing going on, right? In that celebration there is a crying, right? For example, if somebody cracked IIT, so they are happy but they cry. It's a material example. And similarly, we got something which is crores of times more valuable than getting into IIT, correct? So we are jubilant, we are happy as a living entity that finally, after millions of lifetimes, we have come in the shelter of Krishna and acharyas and devotees. But at the same time, because I am so fallen, because of my fallen condition, I'm crying that Krishna is so merciful. And that's what Arjuna is doing in this verse itself, right? He's remembering the mercy of Krishna that he has done on the Pandavas, because of which they were able to achieve all these things together. For Pandavas, it is a matter of jubilation, right? They have won the war, they have got the kingdom, they have performed a very successful Rajasuya Yagya as well. And that Rajasuya Yagya is even important than winning the war, because now not only the kings in the war, but people who did not join in the war as well, they have surrendered. So now Yudhishthir Maharaj after this yagya has become a true Chakravarti Samrat. And it is a matter of great jubilation. But now because they are remembering Krishna's mercy, that he was eating with us, sleeping with us, walking with us, and he was there with me in the battlefield. And in the battlefield, I was kicking Krishna's shoulders to tell them to turn left or right. In a battlefield, you don't speak because there is so much chaos. So the warrior kicks the charioteer on the shoulder. If they have to move left, then you kick your knee to the charioteer in the left. So see, Supreme Personality of Godhead is being kicked by a devotee. And when they are remembering this, they're like completely devastated. That is how we cry, by understanding how merciful Krishna is and how fallen we are. When we see the gap, then we see this is a matter of great sentiment and mercy, like that. Hare Krishna. जगत गुरु शिला प्रभुपाद की जय, ग्रंथ राज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।